What's up, everybody? So I admittedly kind of hijacked this channel because it had roughly 100 subscribers and, or was already monetized and stuff to put my podcast on here. And I realized, that I probably had at least a few viewers that actually watched my, kind of DIY hack. I hate the term hack. I'm not a big fan of that. But it's like DIY tips and tricks, techniques, and things that people figure out. I love that kind of stuff, and I love to work on it myself, and I like to share it with people, some rope tricks and that sort of thing. So I want to do a video today about all kinds of different inflatable boating tips and tricks that I have put together over, a few seasons of experience taking out my Intex Seahawk 4. It's a great boat. Tons of videos on the boat. I'm not going to really go into that, but talk about more of the accessories and different things that I put together to make sure I have all the gear that I want when I'm out on the boat, to make it more enjoyable, a little safer, and just easier to deal with, just a little more streamlined, dialed in type of scenario. So we're going to go into my gear bin and all the stuff that I carry, and I'm going to show you some little tips and different things that you can do, modifications that you can do for various pieces of equipment to make them a little bit more functional, and yeah, that sort of thing. So let's get into it with a little bit of a quick rope trick here for you guys. This is one of the cheap anchor lines that comes with the various Intex boats and other inflatable boats. That's actually the tie rope that you're supposed to tie around the outside of the boat. I never used it though. I don't find it necessary. I can just strap on things to the to the little eyelets on the boat as needed. So I never really used it. The first one I had was my anchor line. I think that's what this piece of line is. I just used it as my anchor line last season. I've updated that, which I'm going to show you in a second. But one quick tip is you can use the Cobra Stitch pattern as a huge theme on this channel, obviously, for the paracord stuff. And it makes a nice sliding loop here, so you can cinch it down onto stuff, and just a nice functional loop end. And then you can coil up your rope and just put that loop end around there. And I'm not doing very well on camera, but you can bundle up your rope that way. So that's just a quick paracord tip, since that was the name of the channel for a while there. You're looking at my inflatable cooler float that I use for my gear storage. I'll get into that in a second. Let's get into this bucket of side stuff here. I like to take this bucket out on the water. One quick tip is I took the bottom of it and I sanded it down real smooth so there's no sharp edges for the inflatable boat. Always something that you want to be cognizant of with all the gear on that you're going to use on any type of inflatable boat. Obviously, you don't want anything sharp. This guy, we're not going to talk about what this is. You can probably figure it out if you think about it. Two guys out fishing on a boat drinking beers. Enough said there. We got here's my inflatable pump here. This one is one of the fast inflates from Coleman. Definitely an upgrade from the one that I had. I mean, it's still just a plastic thing, but it works good. It plugs into the car. The thing I wanted to show you on this was the valves are real easy to misplace. So what I did, I can get it out of the bag. I'll show it to you. A little bit tangled. What I did was I took some inner strands of paracord. I drilled a tiny hole in the side here. See that right there? So you can get some light on that. Drilled a tiny hole, looped those through. Same on this one. And then I knotted those around a zip tie on the shaft of this thing here. Therefore, I can put the nozzles on and off as needed to inflate and deflate the different chambers of the boat, but they are attached to the pump. So that's a quick tip. I recommend doing that as well, so you don't have to worry about losing those valves, because if you lose either one of those valves, you're kind of not doing too well on inflating the boat. They're pretty big. You need the pump to get it done. I got sunscreen in here. You don't need to see that. Here's my other anchor line. Just another cheesy rope. But this one actually, let me show you this. This one actually did the same thing I did with that other rope, but I used some of the same rope to do a little run of Cobra Stitch to make a sliding knot there. So it's another sliding loop, but it's using the same gauge rope rather than the paracord on it. Just experimenting with those different concepts, see how I like them. This is the first season I've done that, but It just seemed to make sense if I was going to carry this rope around. It's nice to keep it bundled, and it also, you know, is helpful for having the ability to cinch it down. Let me get that out of the way. Here's a cool hack that I definitely want to show you guys, or just an idea. Damn, no, I'm using the term hack. I don't really like it. So, this is my anchor. It is a, I think it was, what, like sweet Thai chili sauce from a restaurant. It's a nice, really thick, sturdy, smooth, you know, squared off bottle, and it's really solid and really tough plastic, so this thing will last forever. And I just filled it with dry sand, obviously. I super glued the cap, and there's also a plug, which is why I took it as well for this project. Is I put the plug on, super glued that in, then I super glued the cap on. Then it attaches here via this, let me just point this down, this might help, huh? It's a rough video, sorry guys. Hopefully the information's good. So here you can see it's attached to this Flexi dog leash. This is the heavy duty model, so it's like the large dog model. It's 26 feet of tape, so it's not the cord, which I thought was cool, just because it's a little easier to grab this than it would like a thin cord to yank the anchor back off the ground. It's not super heavy, but it's still nice to be able to get a little bit better grip on it. And yeah, retractable dog leash. So this thing is really, really nice for this setup because obviously it retracts the line and there's no slack whatsoever, which is beautiful. And then you just lock it. Right here, there's this little button. You can clip that, and then it will not pull out at all. And then you just pop that loose, and you're good to go. Over here, I put a little paracord loop on it. I'm waiting on I ordered another couple carabiners I'm going to attach that onto. But what I found works the easiest in terms of using this on the boat for the anchor, works great. What I do is I just take this off of there, and then I thread it through the oarlock, right, from the inside going out, through the oarlock on the Intex Seahawk 4, and then I clip on the anchor, I drop the anchor, and then this piece right here, say this is the oarlock, just butts right up against the oarlock like that, and it won't go anywhere. So it anchors itself perfectly, it keeps the whole unit out of the boat, and it works phenomenal. I'm super happy with the way this worked out. These Flexi dog leashes are a little bit spendy, but I looked around a whole bunch on eBay. I got this one for 15 bucks. Again, this is the large dog size. It's like 110-pound dogs or whatever, 26 feet of retractable cord tape in there. Many other models and different types of you know, retractable dog leashes, but it seemed like these are the, you know, the best quality ones for, you know, they're made in Germany and they seem like they're made real nice. I wanted something that I didn't have to worry about, and yeah, really happy with the way that worked out. But you could get lots of different ones. I would recommend staying away from like the small dog one, and you probably want to go a little bit, you know, heavier duty than that. Alright, let's bring it back up here. Again, sorry, kind of a poorly filmed video. Hopefully you guys don't mind information. Hopefully the information's good. So this is another thing that I made. That is the inset for the rod holder on the Seahawk 4. It's on a mop handle, old shitty like dollar store mop handle. Comes down, and I just put some pipe insulation foam I happen to have on it so it doesn't sink if it falls in, even though it probably wouldn't anyway. Just a little extra safety or whatever, keep it in place. And then what I did was I cut off the end, I snipped it off, I crimped it, I drilled a hole in it, hung this ring on it, put all this Gorilla Tape on it, wrapped it a pretty good amount to make sure there's no sharp edges again, like we talked about earlier. And then there's this clip on here. I'll show you what goes on there. It's either for a flag or a lantern. I'll show you those when we get inside the thing, inside this you know, gear tub here. But I can just take this thing and put it in the rear rod holder. It hangs on an angle. Then I attach either a really bright orange towel to it that acts like a flag. It's actually a disc golf towel, so it's got a little tab on it already. I clip it right to this little mini beaner. And then I also have a really rad flashlight / lantern that I hang on it that I use when I'm out on the boat at night. Beautiful setup. So this is, you've seen it all along, this is a like maybe $15 or so floating cooler float. So pull a little closer here so you can get a little better look at it. It's got this valve over here, which is nice because you can inflate it, and as you're blowing into it or pumping into it, you just pop it down and it seals, and then you can put the actual plug in. Really nice, handy setup. I threw just a little loop end with a carabiner around here so I can clip it to the boat. It's got drink holders in it, which is nice, and I do use. They're definitely functional. Throw a beer in there or bottled water or whatever. Definitely nice. And then it's basically built like one of those river rats where it's got the mesh bottom there. Hopefully you can see that. So, what I did was I found this thing at the store. I took it out of the box. I carried it over to where the plastic tubs were. I think I got it at Bi-Mart. It's like a Walmart-y type store. I brought it over to where the plastic tubs were, and I found the one that fits in it the best, which is this one right here. I mean, fits perfect. Obviously, you could just use a cooler and, you know, put gear in the cooler, but this bin is cheaper, lighter weight, and, you know, obviously, of course, the same thing could be used for an actual cooler if you want a cooler on the boat, or if you're going floating or whatever. But it works great for me. I put my gear right in this thing, and then this little clip can kind of hold on to the edge if you want it to, but it's really not necessary. But a lot of times I'll do that just because I can. And while I'm paddling, this will be inside the boat. When you get where you're going, I take this whole unit out, put it next to the boat, clip it on any of the anchor points, like the rod, the oar locks, or any of those little loops on there. Bang, all my gear is floating outside of the boat, and I have all the leg room I want, and it's still right there. It doesn't get away from you. It's a really nice setup. Highly recommend checking that out. Another thing you can do as well, it's going to be a long video, huh? Another thing you can do is, since it's got this mesh bottom in it, it's a pain in the ass trying to wrangle all this on camera. What you can do is, rather than hauling the anchor out of the water and into the boat, if you just want to put your gear tub, and I may just get a second one of these floaties, these cooler floats for this purpose, put your gear in the boat, then as you pull in the anchor, just throw your anchor in this. It's obviously up off the bottom, and therefore it's not functioning anymore, and it's not in the boat, and it's also not getting any water in the boat. Because one of the main things that's going to get you a lot of water in your inflatable boat when you're out on it is, A, if you have to walk it out and then step in. What I usually do is I try to like lean in, you know, I'll like lift up my leg, shake it off, kind of wipe it off as best I can, step in, and then I'll let my other leg kind of hang off the boat for a second and let that shake off and try to dry it off, and then climb in the rest of the way. Obviously not an issue if you can step in off of a dock. That'll keep you real dry. But the anchor is the other thing that's going to get you a lot of water in the boat. If you have to haul in that anchor and put it straight in the boat, that's another reason why I have this bucket. I could put it in there. So yeah, but just, you know, throwing out options there. Let's get into the gear tub here. A lot of good stuff in here as well. So here's my goofball captain's hat that I wear. It looks goofy as hell, but it's super functional. It is like SPF 50 or something fabric, Columbia, super lightweight synthetic hat. That it's got the kind of what shroud there, covers your neck and your ears, so you don't get sunburnt on them. It's adjustable, even though this one barely kind of slides on my head as is. Beautiful thing about this as well is it has this clip that you can clip on the back of your shirt, like on your shirt collar. Therefore, a lot of times when you're on the boat, there's wind, you're paddling into the wind, your hat can easily go flying. This way you won't lose it, or have to go paddle back for it or any of that shit. So yeah, nice hat. Definitely recommend these for being out on the water. Again, you look like a doofus, but they're supremely functional. So, you know, I gotta go with function most of the time, at least. This is a PFG Columbia long sleeve shirt. These are fishing shirts made for people like out on the ocean and stuff. Phenomenal thing to have. I have a long sleeve, which is this one. I also have a short sleeve. I'll wear the long sleeve more often because it allows me to not have to put on as much sunscreen. I just put on a little bit on my legs and stuff, and on, you know, just a little touch up here and there. But this thing covers up most of you in your arms, and even when it's really hot out, the fact that it's blocking the sun, it's really not that warm of a shirt, even though it's long sleeve. It's pretty nice. and it's super quick dry, synthetic, lightweight material, so you can always just dunk it in the water and cool off that way, and it'll still block the sun. Totally recommend those shirts. They have a lot of pockets and stuff too, little attachments for gear and shit, because they're made for boater or fishermen. So there's like a little rod holder thing that's got everything you want in there. I have a couple of these Plano dry boxes in here. I'm going to put aside. We'll go through those in just 1 second. I'll show you those. I love those. Here's the short sleeve version of the same shirt. It's super hot out. I may wear this and then just put some sunscreen on my lower arms. No big deal. Still gives me all the same protection. And I like this shirt as well. Very nice. Then I think all that's left in here is I have a couple towels. Obviously, you always want to have towels out on the boat to dry yourself. I'll usually keep one out with me, and I'll kind of dry off the edge of the boat after I'm done paddling, and any drips that come in if I'm trying to keep it dry. Alright, throw the gear back in there, the hats and all that stuff. Let's get into my dry boxes. Man, you guys are sticking with me here. It's a long video. Nobody's going to watch this, right? We'll see. Alright, so highly recommend as well. Plano Guide Series 3700. These are this is a deep one, real large. This one's rad. Super inexpensive, made in the USA, I believe. I'm not lying on that, are they? Pretty sure they're made in the USA. Now I want to check it out. Yep, made in the USA. When can you say you get a nice, reasonably priced, high quality product made in the USA? Love it. These things are really cheap actually compared to other waterproof options for you for storage. They're just tackle boxes, but this one has a lot of just big open space in it, so you can put anything you want in here. So yeah, highly recommend these. Let's take a closer look at how they work. So there's a little rubber gasket in there that meets with the edge of the rim there, and then it's got these clamps. So the clamps down nice and strong, and it forces that gasket onto the rim, and there's no water getting in these. I've tested them. I've put some like dry towels or paper towels and stuff in one and submerged it under the water, messed around with it, and there's nothing getting in there. I've also done river floats with them, basically in the water and stuff. They don't let any water. So really nice product. Let's take a look at what I got in this particular one. You notice a lot of the gear I have is orange. They're bright colors. It just makes sense. Out on the water, you want to be visible. You want people to be able to see you, and you want to see your gear. If you drop it or whatever, it's nice to be able to just find it without too much trouble. So I keep one of these nice dollar store. Oh, this is a Trader Joe's one. It's like a ShamWow type rip-off thing. These are really nice to have. They're just super absorbent. You can wring them out and keep working it. But I usually just leave this one dry, just in case. You never know if you might need it. Here's some backup batteries in a Ziploc, just because. I got some soap in here, some like real natural soap in case I ever have anything super gross on my hands. I wouldn't feel too bad about rinsing them off in a lake or something with this stuff, because it's just like a really basic, like homemade natural soap. It's nothing that's going to hurt anything in the water. So if you get any kind of like super gross fish guts or whatever, you want to just, I haven't used that, just put that in this year. This is just a bundle of paracord. I did some of my typical rope tricks on this one. I did the, again, a little slider, Cobra Stitch slider bead. I put this button knot there so I can actually cinch these onto themselves via the button knot and the loop. Alright, you can see what's going on there. I can cinch that down and the button knot won't slide through. This is just a nice thing to have, just an extra piece of cordage out there in case you need to like tie something up to yourself, or tie off to somebody else's boat or whatever. It's very nice to have. You can tow people across bodies of water if needed on floats or whatever, so that's always good. Pretty self-explanatory. This is my super bright golf towel that I will clip to my flagpole that I showed you a little while ago. So this, I'll clip it right on here. This guy will hang out and flap around in the breeze. Super visible. Just gives you a little extra visibility out there in the water. And then also, it's a nice dry towel. It's up in the air, so you can dry your hands off or whatever, dry your face on it, and then it's up off the water and it's floating around the air, so it should keep pretty dry. This is the Yuko Claris flashlight that I use. I put in here. I actually bought one specifically just to go in here because I really like this product. Really great. So it's basically a very bright 3-mode flashlight. I think it's like 100 100 or so lumens on full. And it's got medium, and then it's got strobe. Maybe it might even have, yeah, it's got high, medium, low, and then also strobe. So the strobe could actually be pretty helpful if you want to maintain visibility out in the water, because what you do with this thing is it's got this hanger on the top, and then you just pull it open, and then it starts dispersing the light. That's a little bit disconcerting to look at. Starts dispersing the light. Really nice. So these are great, super great for the money. $15 for this thing. You can get them cheaper on Amazon even. I got it at Sportsman's Warehouse. UCO Claris, highly recommended. Works out perfect for my application to have some light out in the water, and then again, clip it right onto this flagpole thing, and it's like a little hanging lantern. Super visible, very bright, and no other boats are going to have any trouble seeing you out in the water that way. So you'll notice with all this stuff, it's all budget. It's all cheap. It's all stuff that's really accessible. You know, I do my research. I look around. I find the shit that I need that's going to perform the function, and you know, that's nice and inexpensive and doesn't hurt me too much. Then I have another one of these waterproof boxes. This is my smaller one that I'll take on you know, float trips or whatever, other little excursions. I actually have a tiny one of these boxes in my backpack that I carry with me all the time that my first aid kit fits into. So it's totally dry and protected. No matter what happens to it, I can open it. My first aid kit is totally dry and good to go. They make one that's about like this big. That's what I use. It's perfect for that. This one for floats, and I always have it with me on the boat or whatever. May not always take that big one depending on the, you know, if I'm just going down a river or something. Got a lighter in here, never hurts. I threw this little Swiss Army knife in there, lots of functionality. I think last time we used it, we were cutting limes to do margaritas on the waterfront after paddling across. I also got a couple of fire starting tablets here that I made. I show you guys how to make these here on the channel, and then some duct tape just wrapped around like a piece of plastic or whatever, just a little extra duct tape. I have that full roll. I don't know if I showed it to you, but I have, you guys saw, I have like half a roll or a quarter of a roll of Gorilla Tape in that other bin. Then last but not least, I have this little just basic bright high-vis orange super loud safety whistle. Just again, it's basically my car horn out on the water, visibility, you know, and then people can hear you and get people's attention as needed. If you go dunking in or anything stupid goes on, it's nice to be able to carry some sound and get people's attention. And I made a little safety neck lanyard on this thing too. I didn't want to do a solid loop out on the water because I don't want it to be around my neck. I have to worry about that. So this one, if I get it tangled on anything, it will pull. It'll pull free. But it's not going anywhere otherwise. So that is a detailed look into my very extensive, you know, setup. Well, not really that extensive. This is all very basic, lightweight, compact, extremely inexpensive gear that you can put together for your small boating type of experience out there on the water, and it makes everything simpler and more easy to deal with. And I'm just trying to share it with you guys, so you know, hopefully you guys enjoy yourself a little more on the water. When you have everything set up in a nice way, have all your bases covered. You know, if it gets dark, I throw the light on. You know, if I need a piece of duct tape to patch the boat, I've literally had that happen. One of the first seasons I had it, we had a huge pop, like a pencil-sized hole in the boat. As I tried to launch it, I pulled it out of the water. I dried it off real good, put a couple pieces of Gorilla Tape on it, reinflated it. It's totally fine. 3 seasons later, still working. You know, every year I take the Gorilla Tape off, I put a fresh piece on it, and it's totally fine. So, you know, it's nice to have all your bases covered and have your system in order. So I figured I'd just give you guys some tips. I've put a lot of thought into this. I've been geeking out about it on the podcast, so I figured I might as well show it off on here on the channel. Check you guys later. Thanks for watching.